is a beef and ale pie. Now I've got here quite a large piece of rump steak. Now generally speaking, the most amount of work an animal does, the better flavour that it has. But the offset from that is the longer you have to cook it. So that's why stewing beef, that's why a little bit of braising steak, all that sort of thing, top side, when it's cooked properly, has so much more flavour than fillet steak. I'm just going to take a bit of it, and I've got a hot pan on the stove and seal it. That's really important when you're making a stew, is you brown it off first. And also it's really important that you don't add too much meat. The more meat you add, you're reducing the temperature of that pan down so you don't get a nice colour onto our beef. Now what you need to do is colour it really, really well like that. So I'm going to leave that bit sealed while I then prepare the rest of it. You'll probably notice that I've actually taken this fat off. The problem is with fat, although it creates nice flavour to it, you don't want that fat sitting on the top of your pie. Now the veg that I'm going to put in here, leeks, bang in season at the moment. The carrot, we've got some onion in here, and then what I find great in beef and ale pie is mushrooms. But what I'm going to use is these little brown top mushrooms, brown cap mushrooms, which we can just cut in half like that. So once you've got colour on there, just take that off. Let's just add a little bit of flour at this stage. You want about a tablespoon of flour. Now this will do two things. It'll actually just create depth to our nice stew, but it'll also thicken it up. And that's what we want. Another ingredient that can go straight in is tomato puree. And this is really important that we cook these two ingredients out before we add anything else. Tomato puree can go a little bit bitter if you don't cook it out beforehand. Now into here now I'm going to put my beer. Now it must be beer, not lager. Now the pan that I've actually used to seal our meat as well, there's lots of flavour in there as well, so we don't just throw that away and wash it up. We take this mixture now, what we call deglaze a pan. It's actually remove that sediment, that all those meat juices that have sealed onto the bottom of the pan, remove those. So add in our veg, take in this bit of the beer. Now just to top this up, we can add a little bit of beef stock, and then just finish that off with a nice sprig of fresh thyme. Now instead of making plain mash, what I thought I'd do is use celeriac. Now Rosemary's never tried this before, so Rosemary, smell that. Now if you've never tried this before, no. It's a wonderful, wonderful veg. You can roast this, treat it like sort of parsnip. Right. But obviously I'm going to do some mash, so I've got some potatoes in here. Now you don't have half celeriac to half potato, so you have about 3/4 potato to a quarter celeriac, so it's quite strong. Right. Pop that into our pan with a little bit more. Bit of salt, see, cold water, bring this to the boil. That's already just been on for about 20 minutes, and look at the colour already. It's delicious, isn't it? Continue to cook that for about 45 minutes before I top it with pastry and whack it in the oven. Now a good tip, whenever you're working with pastry, particular puff pastry or short crust pastry, the more flour you add, the more tougher the pastry will become. Now before we place it on the top, I've just got a little bit of beaten egg here, just a whole egg, just beaten up. Place this around the tin. You can pop this over the surface like that. Press it down just to seal in the edges like that. And when we trim it, try not to trim it too close to the side of the dish. Just take about a couple of millimetres away from the edge. Now with your finger and thumb together, your thumb presses down and seals in the pastry on top of the tin. Now it's really important whenever you make anything with puff pastry that we allow the air to evaporate out the middle, otherwise you'll end up with a soggy base to your pie. So just roll out the remaining bits of pastry. Now for this we need 3 leaves. Now to create a much better egg wash and a much better glaze to your pie, just take a yolk of an egg and mix that in with the remainder of your beaten egg. Brush the leaves first, egg wash this really, really well, pop the leaves on the top, and this needs to bake now for about 30 minutes. Well, look at that. Smells delicious. I think she's going to enjoy this. Rosemary, there we go.
Wow.
Look at that, eh?
Look at that.